Hi everyone, I'm Sean Farrell, and welcome to This Month at the Library. It's July, which means that summer is in full swing, the shore is busy, and the heat has been cranked all the way up. It also means that there's a lot to look forward to in Avalon all month long, so let's get to it. First, at the library and the History Center. Kids are in for a treat with this year's Monday Fun Day events lineup. On the 1st at the library, Tailwise returns to present Science Heroes Adventure of the Lost Treasure. Then on the 8th, the Caterpillar Hunter will take kids on the quest for the Kakapo. The event moves to the History Center on the 15th for a mini camp focused on water conservation, then heads back to the library on the 22nd for the fun, family-friendly band The Green Orbs, before popping back over to the History Center on the 29th for a Green Kids mini camp. All events begin at 10 a.m. The library events are open to all, but the History Center events have limited space and so require registration. You can sign up for those two events by calling the History Center at 609 967 0090. Author of New York Times best-selling novels like The Last House Guest, The Only Survivors, and Daughter of Mine, Megan Miranda will be speaking at Surfside Park on July 1st at 7 p.m. Books will be available to purchase at the event, and it will move indoors at Community Hall in the event of stormy weather. The library and History Center will both be closed on July 4th in honor of the holiday. Then, on July 5th at 10 a.m., the library will host a special family bubble show. Earl Hicks returns with bubbles of every shape and size, some big enough to fit a person. The July Art House film will show on the 8th at 5 p.m. in the library. This month's selection is The Man in the Basement. This French film follows a Jewish couple who sell their basement to a former history teacher, only to later discover his secret life as an anti-Semitic conspiracy theorist. As the couple struggles to rescind the sale, the buyer befriends their naive teenage daughter. This film is not rated, but contains mature content. The author of children's books like the Lunch Lady series and parts of the Star Wars Jedi Academy series is taking over the library's story time on July 9th at 10 a.m. He'll read from his books, talk about writing, and will even draw some of his characters live. Books will be available for purchase. Aaron Rawls of the Wetland Institute joins us on July 10th at 6 p.m. to present Turtles of the Shore, co-sponsored by the Avalon Environmental Commission. They will introduce attendees to several different species of turtle that can be found locally, including the northern diamondback terrapin, the only reptile found in a salt marsh. The Thursdays at Surfside concert series continues throughout July, starting with Best of the Eagles tribute band on the 11th, then B Street Band, a tribute to the Boss on the 18th, and Tupelo Honey, a Van Morrison celebration on the 25th. These concerts all begin at 7 p.m. and will move from Surfside Park into Community Hall in the event of inclement weather. Remember to bring your beach chairs or towels to sit on. Teens ages 12 through 17 are invited to come by the library on Fridays to compete in a weekly Minute to Win It challenge beginning on July 12th at 11 a.m. With just 1 minute on the clock, are you up for the challenge? Neil Berg brings his Broadway tribute show back to Avalon on the 13th at 7 p.m. in Surfside Park. 102 Years of Broadway is an electrifying musical review that celebrates the greatest moments for over a century of Broadway history. With a cast of theater veterans and stunning choreography, this is always an unforgettable experience. In case of rainy weather, the event will move next door to Community Hall. The Avalon History Center invites the community to stop by on the 19th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. for their open house event. Their new Notable Women of Avalon exhibits will be on display, and locally made light refreshments will be on hand. Attendees can also learn about the center's various initiatives and participate in their ongoing video and oral history programs. The library is once again hosting the Bay Atlantic Symphony on Saturday, July 20th at 7 p.m. in Community Hall for an evening of music that put orchestras on the map. Violin soloist Ching Li returns as well to perform Mozart's Violin Concerto, followed by a special encore that sees Maestro Jed Galen accompany him on the piano. Then the program will close out with Haydn's Fast and Fiery Symphony 44. Local railroad enthusiast Paul Mulligan will present Mapping the Railroads of Cape May at the 39th Street Tennis Building on the 22nd at 5 p.m. He will explore the dawn of railroads in New Jersey in 1830 through the construction of the first line into Cape May City in 1863. Psychic medium, energy healer, animal communicator, and soul coach Caitlin Haffert will join us at the library on the 24th at 6:30 p.m. for a demonstration of mediumship. During this presentation, attendees' deceased loved ones may come through to demonstrate continuity of life after physical death. Note that attending the event does not guarantee that you will receive a communication from a loved one. Immerse yourself in the rhythm and energy of Indian culture and dance with the Community Bollywood Dance Project at 2 p.m. on the 27th for a Bollywood dance and movement workshop. Participants ages 18 and up of all abilities and experience are welcome. Registration begins June 27th and is recommended as only limited walk-ins will be available the day of the event. Call 609-967-7155 or stop by the circulation desk to sign up. The Community Bollywood Dance Project will be sticking around afterwards to present a henna workshop beginning at 3 p.m. Learn about the history and significance of henna art and receive your own small henna tattoo. Attendees must be 18 or older and registration is required. Avalon property owners may register now and all others may do so on July 11th. Call 609-967-7155 or stop by the circulation desk to sign up. That's not all we have going on in July, so make sure to visit www.avalonfreelibrary.org/events for a complete schedule featuring book clubs, kids' craft events, and more. The Avalon Boat Parade begins at 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday, July 3rd, starting at the Avalon Yacht Club. This year's theme is patriotic. Participating boats will need to arrive no later than 6:15 p.m. for lineup and must follow the Avalon Fire Department vessel. The route will run from the Yacht Club east through Cornell Harbor, then south along 3rd Avenue Harbor, past the Avalon Sports Fishing Center, then west along Pennsylvania Harbor, past Avalon Anchorage Marina, and then entering Princeton Harbor, heading east down one side before turning around and heading west down the other, and ending upon returning to the Intercoastal Waterway. There is to be no throwing, launching, or shooting of any products between boats and spectators permitted. The Avalon July 4th festivities kick off at Surfside Park at 5:30 p.m. with a hometown Star-Spangled Jam featuring a variety of local musicians. Mudshark kick things off, followed by Sean Lush and Brett Hands, Black Dandelion, and then Marnie L'Engle and Nate Kennedy with an all-star band of Jersey Cape musicians. That will be followed up by the largest fireworks display in New Jersey at dusk with a patriotic musical simulcast on WCZT The Coast, 98.7 FM. The July beach movie selections are Barbie on the 5th and the original Top Gun on the 19th. Both take place at 30th Street and the beach and will begin at dusk once the Friday Night at Surfside event finishes. Some of the great books coming to the library this month include The God of the Woods by Liz Moore takes place in the summer of 1975 when a teen girl goes missing from a summer camp owned by her family, 14 years after her brother met the same fate. Kate Quinn's The Briar Club takes place in a women's boarding house in 1950s Washington, D.C., whose occupants are brought together after the arrival of a mysterious new resident. In The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst, Keela and her assistant Kaz flee from the magical library they work at after it is burned down. When she returns to her hometown, she opens a secret spell shop and finds herself fending off a nosy and very handsome neighbor. Popular author Emily Giffen's The Summer Pact follows 4 college friends permanently bound by tragedy who reunite 10 years after graduation when one of the group faces a crisis. I Was a Teenage Slasher by Stephen Graham Jones flips the slasher genre on its head by viewing a killer's origin story from his own perspective. And some of the movies coming to the library this month include Alex Garland's brilliant Civil War shows us a journey across a dystopian near-future America by following a team of journalists as they race against time to reach Washington, D.C. before rebel factions descend upon the White House. Tashi, a former tennis prodigy turned coach, made her husband into a champion, but to overcome a losing streak, he needs to face his ex-best friend and Tashi's ex-boyfriend in Luca Guadagnino's masterful challengers. In the wake of his mother's death and his father's remarriage, a headstrong boy named Mahito ventures into a dreamlike world shared by both the living and the dead, in Hayao Miyazaki's The Boy and the Heron. Abigail follows a group of criminals after they kidnap the ballerina daughter of a powerful underworld figure. When they retreat to an isolated mansion, they discover that they're locked inside with a very unusual little girl. Ted Lasso, the complete series, gathers all 3 seasons of the hit comedy about an American college football coach who heads to London to manage AFC Richmond, a struggling English Premier League soccer team. That's it for this month. If you have a bit of news or an event that you think we might want to include here, send me an email at sean@avalonfreelibrary.org. Have a happy July, and we'll see you in the library.